Good morning, guys. It's time to do job site visit number one for the day. Got the cocoa in hand, ready to roll, baby. Let's go. So, guys, now we're driving. We're in transit to said site. We are going to be taking a peek at a high-end builder project we've been doing. All phases are actually done, and this is simply a quality check to see where we're at and how much touch-up we have to do for the last final round of touch-up. We are here, guys. There it is, right there. This is it, the humble abode. First floor right here. There's 3 total. Let's move up. So as you can see, we already got tape ran through here. Doors were gray. Trim was white. Walls were like an off gray. And here's the top floor right here. This goes onto a balcony. Pretty sweet view. So guys, honestly, that one really didn't look that bad. The amount of touch-ups, like it might have seemed like there was a lot of tape going around, but that's actually pretty solid for what we typically do. And overall, you know, home build projects or like custom builds, they generally don't have a good rep in the sense that a lot of them kind of like really try and like squeeze your margins. Nothing against them, they kind of have to, given the you know, the space that they're in. But if you look hard enough and kind of just like know the right questions to ask and like know where certain price points got to be, then you actually could make a little bit of money on them if it's the right builder. So the site that you actually just saw us walk through, it was more of a higher end builder. It was like a up and coming area that there just seems to be a lot of people kind of moving in, spending a lot of money, doing really expensive renovations. It didn't seem like it from the neighborhood, but that home was probably going for around like $600,000 or so. But basically, like, kind of getting to the bottom of it, we've done a lot of work for a lot of different builders, and a lot of them were shit. And there's really no money to be made. Margins were really tight, and we just couldn't grow a scalable company at like a large enough scale for it to make enough sense to be able to do some of that stuff. This is the first builder that we've really found that we can still gross like 35-40%, which it's still not great, but there's no time spent marketing, no time spent getting the job. The frequency is pretty high, and you can always stack it with lower hourly rate people to kind of like compensate for some of the phases. So for example, in order to make money on these ones, we typically know that there's 3 phases to do. So like full prime, which is a spraying primer on like all the walls and the ceiling for the drywall. So anybody can do that. Like you can train a person making 15 an hour to do that and do the entire spray out in like a day and a half for one person, maybe 2 full days. But after the prime phase is done, then we typically focus on the trim and the doors. Basically, that's, you know, going in one person, spraying the trim and the doors, and then before all that's sprayed, there's a lot of caulking and filling. So again, anything prep related or like super simple for people to do, doesn't take a lot of skill set to actually train and execute. Have a lower hourly rate person do that. So like all the caulking, the hole filling, the masking. It doesn't make sense to pay somebody $25 an hour to do that stuff. So that's how we structure and stack and divide these types of projects. And then once the finish coats are time to come in, that's whenever the quicker, you know, higher hourly rate people typically come in and close it out pretty quick. So I hope that makes sense. Again, like we try and like shoot for 40% gross on these custom builds. Anything lower, I don't like it, but anything higher is a bonus. And then, you know, just make sure you're being super critical and like aware of like what you're doing and what you're spending on, and if you have any like stain work, for example, that you're doing with like treads or banisters, add that in to like whatever price that you want to like go with, and from there it's just really relationship based. But again, bottom line, whole point is profitable work is out there for like custom work like this. Depends on the area, the location. You got to know where to look, who to talk to, and then really cultivate the relationship. Because even on these ones, we actually built the relationship to the point where we were able to negotiate a little bit to kind of like get that up a little bit better. So, you know, we'll be doing about like 8 of these for these people in about like the next couple months. So, home build work, A-okay. Just be careful and be aware of what you're doing and how much you're making. So, hope that helps, guys. If you're thinking of getting into it, nothing against it. Just make sure you got enough other profitable work going on to compensate for that, and slide it in as you start to scale.